time, Brother Rosh.
Sir, yes, sir. I was out earlier. Glad. Unfortunately, we didn't get the test, but I think we're good to go.
All right. Welcome again. This is part two, right? Part two of
Yes.
your five-part series.
Yes, we're
And
going to continue.
what what
Yes.
is what is your topic this afternoon?
So we're going to talk about the value ladder and the funnel.
The value ladder and the funnel.
Yes.
All right. To bring our audience, those who might be tuning in for the first time, up to speed. What is it you're doing and why?
Sure. So what we started last week was talking about digital marketing insights,
Mm-hmm.
talking about being able to utilize the internet. And everyone says, yes, you can create a Facebook page, you can create a website, and you can make that happen. But specifically, how do we do it? What are the elements that need to be in place to make that happen? And that's what we've been tackling. We talked last week a lot about the importance of a website. We talked about tools. We talked about the importance of SEO and lead generation. And today, what we're really going to do is try to make that more applicable as it relates to practicality in your business. And specifically, well, how do we make that happen? What are the fundamentals that need to be in place
Mm-hmm.
to make that happen?
So we got to get started. We have to do the sharing of the screen.
Yes.
All right.
Are we live?
We are live. We are live.
All right. Excellent. Well, let me do that. Let me just pop over here and share my screen
Mm-hmm.
and let me know when you can see my slide.
Your slide is on.
Excellent.
Take it.
Excellent.
Take it away, brother.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you again, Selwyn. Really, let's just dive into the meat of the matter. And I want to say that in many cases, Selwyn, whether it's an offline business, whether it's an online business, there's successful companies out there. And the reason they're successful is because they have what we call funnels in play. They've got multiple funnels that are working behind the scenes that make the magic work, that make the business work. And we're specifically talking about this from a sales and marketing angle. And it's really important that we spend some time fleshing this out. Lots of people build different types of websites. The truth is, the difference between a $200,000 website and a $20 million website as it relates to generating sales are all the things happening after that individual comes into the funnel. So when you've been on many websites before, we've all been on many websites before, and we know that I ultimately, there are only so many things you can do with a website. People come to a website. There are certain functional elements you can, put in your email. You can put in your name. You can consume content. You can watch videos. You can check out in an e-commerce platform on a website. There are only so many things that you can do on a website. And as it relates to marketing and sales, the websites that are making a lot of money, the websites that are the $20 million websites, if you will, are the ones that are providing a lot of value after that individual comes in to the funnel. And what we often see is people modeling the surface level of what other people are doing. And oftentimes they get frustrated. They're frustrated that they're not getting the same or similar results
Mm-hmm.
from those who are putting in the underground work. And here's what I mean by that. There are a couple of very enterprising individuals out there, lots of enterprising individuals that seem to just be expanding, that seem to be moving into new verticals and new territories and new niches, and or they've created a business and they're opening another location, and they're going across the country and opening somewhere else, and you've got people who are watching on going, geez, how are they doing that? How is that even possible? I'm trying to quote unquote follow their footsteps. I'm doing what they're doing with their building. I'm doing what they're doing with advertising. And as much as I can see, we're doing the same things. The truth is, in many instances, those organizations are putting in what we refer to as the underground work. They've got a value ladder that's working for them. They've got a funnel that's working for them. Although a client may be able, or a customer may be able to purchase something on the website or learn about something that they can purchase, in the offline space, the truth is those businesses are reaching out to them and taking them up the value ladder, offering more and more as we go. And and it's really important that we understand how we get to that point, and we refer to that as the web formula. So we're going to walk through the web formula and all its components. It consists of four basic questions. The first question being, who is your dream client? Who is your ideal client? Ultimately, who is it that you want to work with? Now, I know a lot of folks, they'll start with the product, they'll start with the idea, and that's important, and that's great. But many folks are really not thinking about, well, who do we ultimately want to serve? Who do we want as clients, as customers, as vendors? Who do we want as associates? Who are the folks that we're going to be interacting on a daily basis? We need to have an idea of who these guys are and who will be serving. Because here's what happens. I love this slide. If you don't consciously choose your dream client, one day you might wake up working with people who exhaust you, wishing someone can fire you from the very business that you created.
Isn't that
And
the
I know
truth?
it's the case for a lot of folks in the service industry. Folks, you had Yang on the call just now. Folks in that industry who are working with people, who are building websites, who are building apps. Oftentimes folks are not thinking about, well, what is the target demographic that I want to get in front of? And it's really important that we understand who those people are, because you can get to a point of frustration if you're not being strategic and you're not being careful. So that's question number one. Question number two is, well, if you know who they are, number two is, where can you find them? If you don't know the who, it's going to be very hard to find out the where your ideal client will be found. So you got to ask yourself questions like, well, where do they hang out online? Are they on Facebook? Are they on Instagram? What groups are they a part of? What interests do they have? Because with what you can do today with digital marketing, with what you can do today with Facebook targeting and the ability to hyper segment and hyper target, it's very powerful. These very few things that we've asked here, you can plug those into the Facebook ecosystem as search parameters, as keywords, if you will, that will enable your message to get in front of those individuals. It's really important that you find out specifically where they're hanging out. And so, and once you know who they are
Uh-huh.
and you know where they are, you've got to find out number three. Well, what am I going to use to attract them? How am I going to get them excited about what it is that I'm offering? Because that attraction, old school marketing will refer to that as the lure or the bait, if you will, just something that you put in front of people that gets them to raise their hands. I prefer to use the word attraction, and that could be anything, right? So think about your own business. Think about entrepreneurs that you know. Think about what could you offer as something that will actually be of value to individuals, something that will attract them. It could be a physical book. It could be an ebook. It could be a CD. It could be DVDs. It could be an audio recording, a ticket, a sample of what it is that you offer. It could be a discount coupon. It could be an entry into a raffle. I know in many service-based businesses as well, they'll focus on that first free consult where you're not paying for anything, but someone's going to give you some clarity and map out the way forward in your business.
Rosh, Rosh, if I may, Rosh, if I
Yes,
may interrupt there and ask a question, because I have seen over the years, I've seen lots of companies offer something free, and I personally used to think, well, these companies are just trying to lure you in
right,
and resist that. So I was of the belief that the majority of people think that way, that if something is free, then it's too good to be true, and they will turn away from that company. Is that
right.
is that true?
Yes. So here's something I always come back to. In many instances where there are very good intentions, Gary Vaynerchuk said this. He said, "Marketers ruin everything." And what I mean by that is sometimes we hype things up so much that it now looks like it's too good to be true.
Hmm.
And then the people that are watching, we refer to it as your BS radar, right? We all know what BS stands for, right?
Yes.
You've got your BS radar where it's just off the charts and something's not right there. That claim is too big. That claim is too hypey. That thing that they're trying to give me, It probably doesn't look like something of value, although the headline caught my attention. I'm not sure that's for me. So when you actually look at the data, when you do this right, Selwyn, and you lead with value first, and you say, hang on a second, I'm not going to try to sell somebody something ultimately. Yes, I will, but if I can help them solve a problem and understand that individuals want to be educated to, they don't necessarily want to be sold. Um, Once you put those things into play, you create something, you put something out there that is value driven, that is genuine, that has genuine intent, and you will find that people sign up for it, and that's the entry into the funnel. So it works, but it's got to be aligned with who you are as a brand. It just can't be too salesy and too hypey.
Gotcha. There must be a balance.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And the other key thing is the bottom portion of what you're seeing on the slide, which is that it's got to be something your dream customer actually wants and pays attention to. I've seen lots of folks give things away for free just because they have a surplus of it. I've seen people bundle things together, buy my one ebook and you'll get 15 ebooks for free. That may sound enticing, but the truth is your customers, your ideal client, ultimately driven by that type of bonus, or do they want something that's more relevant to them? Right? Quantity doesn't necessarily mean quality in this case.
Mhm.
All right. And number four, what result do you want to give them? And I think many times we see a lot of folks who overlook this. They're not thinking about, what level of transformation do you want to be able to give your ideal client? Because a business is not just about the products or the services that you offer. It's about the results you can get for your clients. There are reasons we purchase certain things. If we think about our own behavior, it's because it's going to get us to a certain place. Whether that certain place is actual utility from that product or service, whether it's a feeling that we've been able to, be able to afford that product or service, and we get a feeling, we've got to think about ultimately what that result is. And if we know what that result is, then we can use that as benefits, as features in the copy of the ads that we release on Facebook and around the internet. So it's really important to think about the results. And once you've got these four questions mapped out, Selwyn, it
Mhm.
takes you to what we call the value ladder. And this right here is so important, the value ladder. It's the first thing that you build out before you start working on the sales funnel. We'll come to the sales funnel, what that looks like, and how you can leverage that. But most people are skipping this. They're not mapping out their value ladder. And this is why you can have very small companies, small in terms of its optics, but huge in terms of its revenue. Yeah, there are massive companies out there, Selwyn, who do massive amounts of sales, and you've got to realize it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep.
Ah.
And the truth is, you can map out how much it is you want to keep if you know your numbers, if you know your acquisition costs, if you know how you're bringing people into your funnel. And that's where the value ladder comes in. This is an incredibly powerful concept. And because of its simplicity, many people overlook this. Simply put, that value ladder, it's how you take a customer through your product. That's it. It's how you take a customer through your products, all of your products and services, providing more value and charging more. So and immediately you're probably thinking and you're looking at this going, well, Rosh, you said products, right?
Mhm.
Plural. Services, plural. And that's another issue. We've got, I see this is not unique to Guyana. I've seen this across the region with many of the clients that we're working with, that there is a one dimensional type of selling. We're just selling that one thing. We're not looking at the peripheral. We're not looking at the accessories. We're not looking at the cross sells and the upsells and the downsells. And the truth is, if someone is interested in purchasing one thing, there are other things relating to that they're interested in purchasing. So instead of having those individuals go elsewhere, is there a way that you could be the provider of that value? And then, of
Ah.
course, could you charge more for those things as we go. You with me, Selwyn?
Yes, I'm with you. I'm with you. So
Brilliant.
you identify the result. You bring the client, you bring the customer into the funnel, and you have to find a way to navigate them through this pathway or through this environment where they not only get their result, but they might be interested in other things that you have to sell.
Bingo. That's exactly it. Again, it's so simple, but it's so profound. It's something you just cannot miss if you're in business. You're going to leave a lot of money on the table. You know, and ideally, once you've mapped out, what it is that you're offering, all the different products and services at all the different levels, ideally, in an ideal world, we want to sell our most expensive products and services, right? Because that has the most margin. And the truth is, it doesn't always work that way. However, we can get to that. So I want to give you this little scenario here over the next couple of slides. This is a true story, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So this is chiropractor. He's from the U.S. and he's making his living and he's doing adjustments. When he's doing them for $50. He's got people's got have issues with their spine, with their shoulders, and they come in. He would get them adjusted. They pay him $50 and then they leave. Now, while he was studying to become a chiropractor, there were tons of other skills that he learned, nutrition and natural healing, but that just wasn't something he built into his ecosystem. Ultimately, it's one-dimensional selling, right? He offers adjustments for $50. So people come in, he takes care of them for $50 and they leave. So his value ladder would look something like this. You've got value on the y-axis, price on the x-axis. You're not necessarily, big question mark here on how people learn about him or how people can be exposed to him. For something that's very that's on the low end side as it relates to cost, but people just come in somehow at the adjustment level for $50 and then they leave. There's nothing below and there's nothing above. So this is what his value ladder looks like. And one of his biggest clients, it was a football team.
Uh-huh.
And this is a true story. This one player on the football team realized, hang on a second, we're spending a lot of money, guys, on this one chiropractor, and he seems to be doing the same adjustment. So let's go to YouTube. Let's figure out how to do that same adjustment, and let's start doing it for ourselves, right? And 2 months in, these guys stopped going to him, and because that was the primary client, his business completely dried up. Now, of course, I would never recommend that people do this, right? You shouldn't just watch something on YouTube and try to fix yourself. I mean, you should seek, professional guidance from a professional and specialist in the field. But ultimately, that's what they ended up doing, and his business completely dried up. So it forced him to really think about what else could I do. So he looked at other ways he could provide value for his clients, which means that they would have to give him more money for it. And ultimately, he created a wellness program. And at the very high end, he realized he could charge not $50 per adjustment, but he could charge $5,000. We're talking US here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the clients who participated, they would get 10 times more value from each visit to his clinic. And that $5,000 was on the back end. It's on the higher point of his value ladder. So people might come into his clinic not even aware that he's selling a $5,000 program. He only exposes that $5,000 program to them once they've come through his funnel. All right. So here's how it all works. Now he's got two full-time massage therapists, Owen, who are giving free massages. Remember, we talked about the attraction?
Yes.
So he's giving free massages. That brings people in through the door. Okay. Those massage therapists are now trained so that when that person's spine or rib or something is out of place, they say, hang on a second, you've got something that needs work here. If that person has a great experience with the massage and you're coming from a place of value and a place of trust, okay, those folks upgrade. They upgrade to do those adjustments. When they do those adjustments and they're feeling good and they're feeling great, they now come back to them and offer the $1,000 and the $2,000 and the $3,000 and the $5,000 wellness programs. So his value ladder now looks like this.
Mm-hmm.
So they're coming in, they've got the adjustments, and he takes them up at the different layers of the wellness program. Again, that 5,000 or 4,000 or 3,000 isn't a one-time thing. That may be spaced out over a period of time. But because of the positive experience, now he's exposing people to something that's very high end and very premium. Is this making sense, Owen?
Making a lot of sense.
Brilliant, brilliant. So the value ladder is the key to building your marketing funnel, and you need to be able to build out a full value ladder. And the only limit to the value you offer is your imagination. And that's what I tell entrepreneurs all the time. Keep thinking of higher and higher levels of service so that you can keep adding more value and charging more money as you go. That's where the margins are. But don't just focus so much on the high end that you're not bringing people in to your pipeline. And that's where you're able to really help people en masse because you've got a free solution. You've got a very affordable solution. So this way, you're taking care of both ends of the spectrum. Okay, you're being able to serve across the board. And for those that want to take the journey with you all the way to premium, you've got a solution there for them as well because they've got this great relationship with you. Money is the byproduct of the value you create. So it starts with value creation. That's key. Money is the byproduct of the value you create. So we talked about the value ladder. Let's now shift gears and shift focus to the funnel. And this is ultimately what it looks like. Again, you'll see the old school bait on there. You know, I prefer to use things like words like attraction, but ultimately we say it's a funnel. It's wide at the top, the one on the image there, on the right there. It's wide on the top and narrow at the bottom because people will drop off as they go. Fewer and fewer people will raise their hands to take your most high-end premium option. So instead of trying to convince someone to buy the most expensive offering right away, we build a funnel and it does two things. Number one, it provides value to each customer at the unique level of service that they can afford. I know a lot of individuals, Selwyn, who want to work with people, who want to buy certain products, who want to be able to afford certain things, but ultimately they can't afford it. And because they can't afford it, they go elsewhere. The truth is, if you are able to offer something that can bring them into their funnel, that could turn into them being able to afford your product and service down the line. Okay.
So
And
again,
number two,
it goes back to
you
your
make
imagination.
exactly, exactly. Just think it through. What can I offer these individuals? And as I like to do, I just ask people, you know, what can we do to offer more value? Where are the pain points in your business? So if you've already got clients, you've already got people in your ecosystem, sit down with them. You know, if you're a good service provider, you're constantly checking in for feedback. If you're a good service provider, you're constantly trying to find out how you can up your game. And in those sessions, in those consultations, you can ask those individuals, well, listen, if we were to offer a product or service that can also help you, not necessarily along the lines of what we're doing right now, but related to what could that thing be? And that can open up your mind to a whole new revenue stream. And that's exactly what's happened to us. You know, how we've gone from being a solopreneur to social rank to masterclass to Franklin Covey, and now a whole bunch of other opportunities in front of us. And it's what we often say, to succeed in business, you just have to be in business. But look at the information in front of you and go out and seek that information from the clients you already have. And number two, what it helps you to do, it helps you to make money and be profitable while identifying your dream clients who can afford the highest offer. And this is what it looks like, Selwyn.
Mm-hmm.
You've got your ads that are out there, the attraction that's out there. You've got your freebie. You know, we don't refer to it as premium. We refer to it as freemium, right? Because it is powerful and it works. And then as you take people through, they come through your front end, your middle, and your back end products. The top of the funnel is the attraction that will invite your dream clients. And as you start to place ads featuring your attraction, people will start raising their hands. In this case, the raising of their hands is in the form of clicks. It's in the form of them typing in their name and email address. It's in the form of taking you up on your front end offer. So the deeper your funnel is, Selwyn, the more things you can offer your clients, the more each customer will be worth to your business. This is the case with restaurants. You know, they've worked out the numbers. There are reasons they can do, free meals. There are reasons they can do deep discounts because they know if they blow you away, yes, they'll lose on the front end, but you're going to come back wanting more. And they've got an entire array of things that they can expose to you. And this is what more businesses need to have in play. Because the more that customer is worth to your business, the more you can spend to acquire them. Now, I don't want to get too technical into cost per lead and cost per acquisition. I think that's something we can talk about as we go. But ultimately, as a business owner, you want to know your numbers. How much did it cost to bring that person into your business? If you know that, and if you know your profit margins between the first exposure, second exposure, third exposure, fourth exposure with those individuals, if you can map out what your numbers are, what your margins are, because you're looking at the numbers, well, you'll figure out exactly how much you can spend to acquire them. I mentioned restaurants just now. This is the case with fast food places, Selwyn.
Yes.
You know, when you look at places that sell chicken and that sell burgers, do you know that they don't really make a whole lot of money on the chicken and on the burgers? They've mapped out the numbers. They know that people are coming for the chicken and the burgers, but where they ultimately make money, where they get the biggest margins, are on the fries and on the drinks. This is why
Oh.
people will always try to sell you a combo. This is
Oh.
why they'll always try to supersize you or to ask if you want fries with that. Would you like the combo with that? That's where it is. They attracted you, they brought you in for the burger and the chicken, but they're really making money on you with the fries and the drinks.
Ah.
What about Kimberly Clark? We've all seen one of these before.
Uh-huh.
In every washroom that we've been into, we've seen one of these before. Again, Kimberly Clark understands their clients. 90% of the time, they'll give this away for free. Okay, so they're actually losing money on the front end. And this is why we say you can get rich by going broke on round one, but getting rich on round two, three, four, and five with the client or with the customer. You see, they've mapped out their numbers. Kimberly Clark knows that if we offer this to our clients for free, they're going to put this in their washrooms. It's got our branding on it. And guess what? They need to buy the paper towels from who? From us in order to keep it. And the minute they change providers, Kimberly Clark will come right back in and they'll take this from you. All right? Because that's part of the agreement. So again, these companies have mapped out their numbers. So we really need to be thinking, as small business entrepreneurs, we really need to be thinking, well, hang on a second, what can I do to get massive exposure so that I can get people in my funnel and then I can be more selective with who we work with. If you're in the service industry or if you're in retail or you're in commodities, you'll be able to offer them more and more things along your value ladder. Now, we talked about at the very beginning this being about digital channels, so I'm going to bring it back to the internet. The truth is, the internet does not sleep. People are browsing, people are filling out forms, people are buying products. We just went through Black Friday, we've got Cyber Monday just in front of us. Things are going insane on the internet. Right now, right this moment, people are on our websites, they're looking at our products, they're purchasing, they're filling out forms because the internet does not sleep. So, for all the small business entrepreneurs out there, it's really important that if you don't put all of this into play, at least put some of it into play. So people find you and people are filling out forms. And so, because I want to make this highly relevant, here are just a few examples before we wrap up.
Uh-huh.
This is Deslyn Griffith. She came through one of our programs. Her company is Extravagant Celebrations. This is right here in Guyana. This is not some pie in the sky type of thing that doesn't work in Guyana. This works in Guyana every single day. In 3 days, she did 20 orders. Okay, 20 orders. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And all she did on Facebook ads was run $1 US a day on Facebook ads. Okay. So we're talking about $200 Guyanese. For 3 days, that's $600. All right. She spent $600 on a media platform and made $65,000 in sales. This was for Valentine's, I believe, and she was doing these these chocolate dipped strawberries, and it was beautiful packaging. But so when you show me any platform, newspaper, TV, radio, where you can spend $600 over 3 days and make $65,000 in sale, Right? It doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. No.
It doesn't exist. And this is the power of digital. This is the power of social media. You also had on recently, you had on Denon Lewis from Privileged.
Yes.
These are some of the numbers from their campaign. So they ran a campaign for 10 days where they were doing pre-orders. Huh? These are not, the items are here. This is them taking great pictures and releasing it on the internet. And they did 300 orders at $3,000 per unit,
My God.
using no more than $4,000 ad spend. That's $20 US. So when you crunch the numbers, they spent 4,000 Guyanese, okay, to make 900,000 in sales. Again, show me the platforms where you can do this. All right. Our very own in the Masterclass Institute, the Entrepreneurship Masterclass. We ran our campaign, the very first one we did for 14 days. We got 30 orders, sorry. Each individual came into that program for $50,000. We spent no more than 100 US, that's about $20,000 Guyanese. And in that 14-day period, what we did was spend $20,000, but we made $1.5 million in sales. All right. Again, this is us scaling. This is us getting in front of a whole lot of people. Right? We took a content marketing approach. So we've been constantly giving these value deposits to the public. So then once we ran the ads, people were already very familiar with what we were doing, and it was an easier sell. Now, what does it look like? As we begin to wrap up here, this is what it looks like. You've got your ad, you've got your post that you make, and we can do an entire session on that, Selwyn, as to how do you structure that? What's the copy you use? What are the types of images that get results? But ultimately, you put that out there, you take people to what we call a landing page. Remember, we talked about this in the very first session when we talked about collecting leads, right? So ultimately, on that landing page, you get their name, their email address, their phone number. If it's a relatively high ticket item, well, then you just want to call and you want to follow up. In Guyana, the phone works. I'm telling you, the phone works. If you're asking for that information, then through that phone call, you're able to get that person to commit to buying or to come in to make the purchase. And you give them such a valuable experience that they now become an advocate. And what they do is they go out on your behalf as a brand ambassador to say, hey guys, I had such an amazing experience with this company. You guys should check them out. And that's what it looks like.
So value, value, value.
Absolutely. Value, value, value. Stop thinking for a second about what it is that you're selling and start thinking about how you can package a value around what you're selling and just give it away for free. What we'll do, we're experimenting all the time. In recent times, we won't even take people to a landing page. What we'll do is we'll take people to a direct video. What we'll do is we'll take people to a blog post where we don't ask them for their name and email address at the very beginning. We just give it the thing away that we said we were going to give away. And if you like it, then give us your name and email address. So we're not locking people out from the content. And in this day and age where you need to differentiate and have people experience your products, let them taste your value. A highly effective funnel is really what separates struggling business from a thriving business. And that's it from me, Selwyn.
Rosh, are you there? Let's come on.
All right, let me stop sharing.
There you are.
Here we go.
Well,
yes.
Well, this was exciting. I often talk about the blind side that so many of us suffer from, or all of us actually, in one case or the other, and that is what you don't know, you don't know.
Right.
And what you have done is to shine the light on some of that ignorance where you don't know what you don't know. And I'm sure there are lots of people that tune in here this evening that found out things about internet marketing and about business that they didn't know before. I didn't know. I mean, I am sitting here and I'm trying to put all this information into my own language so that I can understand it for myself. The concept of the ladder and the funnel, that intrigues me. That you could look at the ladder and determine what values you do not have. You may have just one thing that you're selling, but if you use your imagination, and stop me when I fall off the ledge here. But if you use your imagination,
you're going right, man.
You can identify other values or other things that you can market to people once they come
Yes.
into that funnel. But here's an interesting thing: at the beginning of the experience, you need to take people through your space, your funnel, and give them a wonderful experience.
Yes.
Give away something that is of value at the front end. Don't fear losing in the front end because there are many other layers. Well, in this case with the ladders, there are many other steps of other value you can sell to these people or market to them. Don't fear losing on the front end because you can always make it up on the back end.
Yes, exactly, exactly. And you think about even artists, for example. Why do they give so much away on the front end? Because they know you're going to eventually buy their music, buy their CDs, or there's going to be a certain segment of their fan base that will come out to the concerts. There will be a certain segment of those people that come out to the concerts that buy the VIP and then the VVIP. So when you really start to think about the value ladder, you start to see it all around you. And it really makes you think about, well, how can I implement this in my business?
So
And
giving is power. Giving is power. You you
absolutely,
you you you,
absolutely.
you don't oversell. You don't try to bait and switch people. You use your imagination, identify something, things that are of value to people, and you give it away. You find
And that's why selling, so many people have this negative perception of selling,
mhm.
because people have done that for so long. They've done the bait and switch for so long. You've got individuals who are just trying to push you into a corner, who are just trying to get you to the point of signing on the dotted line and giving me something. And oftentimes you feel they care more about the customer transaction than they do about the customer. And the truth is, if you flip the script on that and you just give and you just allow people to experience what it is that you have to offer, you'll get more fans, you'll get more people who are brand ambassadors, you'll get more people who stay with you throughout the journey together and will continue spending money, as we go. When we first started the entrepreneurship masterclass, we did a lot of free things online. We gave away tons of free equipment, we gave away tons of free books, sorry. And although people came through what was then our highest program, Selwyn, people kept calling for more because it was driven by this value first mentality. So now we've got the entrepreneurship masterclass level 2 and level 3. Again, providing more value, but people are happy to stay with us throughout the journey because of what they're receiving. So there's just so much opportunity for this. I gave a workshop very recently with the GCCI, and we were talking about just what people sell, like glasses, something as simple as a glass that we drink in. And you think about those individuals who are buying that, and you have to realize, well, what else do those folks want? If someone's going to purchase, a glass, a drinking glass, what else do they want to offer? What else do they want to buy, and how can we offer it? How can we bundle it? Do they need a saucer? Do they need more? Do they need a mug? There's no limit to what you can offer. And again, it's the folks that really take the time to sit down. So if there's anything, Selwyn, that I leave today, just to sit down and think about the full chain of what you can offer, the full ladder as it relates to those minimal cost, if not free products, all the way up to the super high end products that've got mass margin.
The sky is the limit. Rosh,
Sky's the limit.
what are
Sky's
we
the limit.
what are we going to be talking about next week?
Brilliant question. So next week we're going to dive a little bit deeper into the actual marketing. So we've set the stage for the website. We've set the stage for why it's important to be on Facebook. We went through those numbers. Today we talked about the value ladder and the funnel. So next week we start talking about how we actually build this out. When you're launching an ad on Facebook, well, how do you do that in a way that saves you money? How do you do that in a way that brings your costs down and gets it exposed to more people? We'll talk about how we use free tools out there to actually start to put this out into the marketplace. And it's probably a great time if you think about timing. We're coming up to that Christmas season where there's a lot of consumer spending. Again, we just had some of that on Black Friday. It's a good time to start to implement and put these things in play.
Rosh, thank you, my brother.
Thank you, Selwyn. As always, it's a pleasure.
It's a pleasure. Good evening.
Be faithful, you. Artists in Direct Support presents the Flame and the Ribbon 2017.
Join us as we celebrate our silver anniversary, 25 years of HIV.